Hi, this is Mason, and you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Now it's time to start the post-game show. Here's Brian.
Oh, boy. Here we go again, folks. Four in a row. Quadir Copeland got his revenge today. Boy, howdy did he. An absolute butt-whooping in the second half put on by NC State. The Orange outscored 47-31 after halftime. Led 0 seconds of the game. In fact, surrendered the opening tip, which normally you'd say doesn't matter. Apparently, Will Wade cares about the opening tip, analytics, or some such. NC State scored 4 seconds into the game and led for the final 39 minutes and 56 seconds. Which, save for games that start with a pregame administrative technical foul, which I have seen multiple times, is extremely hard to do. To trail for the final 39 minutes and 56 seconds. The Orange gave it a run late in the first half, absolutely dominated down in Raleigh after halftime as the Wolfpack win it going away 88-71. 68. Just fantastic. Fantastic times for Syracuse basketball right now. It's 4 straight losses. It is a game against a crap Notre Dame team on Saturday away from being, if Syracuse doesn't win that game, I don't really want to consider how long the losing streak can get to, because after it's at 4 in a row right now. If you don't win on Saturday, your big Monday at North Carolina, yeah, good luck on all of that. You're at Virginia, and then there is no easy game on the schedule for Syracuse at this point. And Pitt, who also stinks, they're the final game of the season. So you could this could get. It's already bad. Obviously, mood bad, vibes terrible, coach likely gone at the end of the season. There will be riots in the street, metaphorical riots, people, in the street. If Autry somehow is still here the second the season ends, there may be fake riots in the street right now if Autry gets on the plane back from the game. That's just kind of where we're at with everybody here, and it's extremely frustrating watch. Extremely frustrating watch. And then it's certainly pounded home is by the Quadir Copeland situation, which, obviously, if Syracuse had that version of Quadir Copeland, if Syracuse had that version of Q, yeah, you want that guy. He was fantastic. 19 points, played under control, 5 of 9, 9 of 9 from the line, 9 assists, plays with, the passion and all that stuff. All the overt stuff that we always saw and liked. Now, the behind-the-scenes stuff is as well documented as it can be with, Q's list of issues behind the scenes was lengthy, class attendance low, and a variety of other stuff. And, whatever is that, it's clearly on Q. Is it on red? Whatever. Clearly he's grown up to some extent under the tutelage of Will Wade the last 2 years at multiple stops. And good for him. Like Q's personality when he was around, Q's personality-wise was at least magnetic. He was always a good post-game quote and all the things that you like from a media perspective. But, oh, man. Just brutal to see the Orange get absolutely just worked after halftime by NC State. It does show you right the other side of the coin, which realistically is what's going to be next, though, for Syracuse. NC State, which made that just miraculous run totally out of nowhere. They were going to fire their coach. They made a crazy run to the Final Four 2 years ago by winning the ACC tournament, like totally just out of the clear blue sky. He gets one more year, gets fired. So, NC State was in this situation last year. They needed to make a coaching change. And look at them now. They're a tournament team, and, they're playing as well, maybe setting aside Duke, as anybody in the league. They are absolutely cooking in the ACC right now, for sure, unless the tires fall off a tournament team and whatnot. Copeland's been playing this way since he had him? No, he's a lot better now. Copeland could do all of those things then, but his level of consistency, was non-existent. His emotional roller coaster was all over the place. We saw all of the talent. He has harnessed the talent now, and he's playing really, really well. He has harnessed all of his stuff now from everything you read and see, and good for him. This is college save for the 3 schools, this is college basketball as we used to know it, right? Where players grow up from freshmen to seniors, and that's what we see. And yeah, bowling ball, NC State came out of the locker room after halftime, and they went hard at the rim over and over and over again. They attacked inside, and Syracuse looked like a matador out there. I don't have anything red. Oh, do I have? This is kind of red. What is this? This is a red folder. Okay, it's just they let the bull go past. They just waved it on past. Let him go. All right, link pin top of the chat. You all know that to join the show here today. We'll see if I'm sure you're all yearning to hear from Red after the game. We likely will not be able to get you that live, but we will see if that exists in some form that we can hopefully get to you before we knock off for the evening. See what fun things come out of that. Yeah, you all know. I mean, fella, for like, not to re-adjudicate that again and again, like, Q had to go. Like, he didn't go to freaking class. Like, Will Wade said it. Like, when he transferred, like, he had so much academic stuff to catch up on. Like, it took him a while to get to his new destination. Like, they all needed a fresh start from each other. And good for Q. It's worked out. It's worked out for Q. And now, realistically here, any other stuff here, right, going forward is all just prelude to the end of the line, or the shocking not end of the line. I don't know when they'd pull the plug. It's still, I mean, it's January 27th. Here we got, 5 weeks, 6 weeks left in the season. I don't know. Like, we're at the point where, like, what do? You know the end result. Do you do it now just to do it? Or do you wait and let Red be the guy that just wears it? And I'm kind of on the side of let Red wear it. It sounds bad for Red, but otherwise it's going to start landing and scattering all over the place. At least right now. This is the positive spin. At least right now, the venom and the hatred and everything is all just pointed in one direction. It's all just pointed at one direction. So yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. Yeah, meaningful games in February. We're not even gonna have meet Ricky. We're like out of meaningful games in January, and the month's not over yet. Oh man. February, the most exclusive month of the year, is a lost cause already, and we haven't even got to it. Yeah, that's the main thing I haven't gotten to, Randy. Like, what if you're going to let Red go now instead of in March? And this is why I keep wondering why you do it now. Other than just the endorphin rush the Orange fan base get, what are you getting out of it for the future of Syracuse basketball? Because is it really helping you get your next head coach? Like, just to let everyone know you're open for business now, based on a month from now, I don't know. Like, I don't think it would make that much of a difference, really. And then, are you going to put anybody that's on the bench in that spot to be the mouthpiece of Syracuse basketball for like a while now? Or there's 10 games left. Yeah. I mean, that's the one thing you do, Jeff, is you send the message that it's unacceptable, and you have to balance out, like, what does that mean for telling the fan base that now versus just doing it anyway in a month. So, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. My guess is they won't. But at the same time here, like, if they lose to Notre Dame on Saturday, like, this could get unseemly. You could be staring at just an insane stretch of losing at which you got to pull the plug just for the sanity of everybody. I don't know. I'd say putting Griff in charge would be kind of amusing. Yeah, Calvin Russell, bouncy athlete. Yeah, I like that. Bouncy fellow. Corey Alexander wanted us to know that Calvin Russell wears 6 because Bill Russell wears 6. But Corey Alexander on color for some of these games makes me want to drill a hole in my head. So there's a balance to those whole things. So I don't know. Link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join the program from now. Q is leading the poll right now. We've put up a poll. We've put up a poll for the Wild Birds Unlimited player of the game. Ooh, Calvin Russell's running a strong second. I put up Donnie Freeman, who was clearly Syracuse's best actual player today. He went 24 points and 10 rebounds, kept the Orange in the game with a 16-point first half. Quadir Copeland, who was awesome today for the other team. And Calvin Russell, because at least that lets us think something happy about something, right? For Syracuse sports, we at least get to think something happy about something. Yeah, like in the NFL, I feel in the NFL, Randy, or in pro sports, it's different when you just let a coach loose, or even in college football, like you let Dino go, but that was with a game left in the season. Look at Penn State football this year, like when they let James Franklin go in the middle of the year, like the wheels fell off the cart, and it was a mess. Now, if you lose to Notre Dame on Saturday, it's like whoa, the whole thing goes sideways. The guy who sounds like Joe Buck, like our guy KB, Kevin Brown, he's a Cuse grad. We support our fellow Cuse grads and Kevin Brown. Why can't we vote for Starling? Because I didn't put 4 options, fella Ferda. That's why you can't vote for Starling. Because 17 points on 19 shots isn't very good. That's why you can't vote for Starling. What did Nate George do today? He attended. Man. This is grim. This is weird. Like, yeah, it is bad when Russell's up for player of the game. I mean, I didn't put an article of clothing up for player of the game today, so, that's something. At least these are all basketball players that have one time or another played for Syracuse, so that's something. That's something for sure. But I don't know. I don't know. Your cousin was doing football for ESPN Radio? Who's your cousin, Randy? There's a lot of people doing football for ESPN Radio. Oh, we got our guy Anthony hanging out here. Let's get to the calls here while we find out who Randy's cousin, and we can get our breakdown from Anthony after that. Just enthralling second half of Syracuse basketball, in which the Orange fall by 20 to NC State on the road in Raleigh here tonight. All right, Anthony. Just another fun evening of Syracuse basketball, where the second half once more goes off the rails. What's up, man?
Hey, what's up, man? Yeah, I just don't understand why some people, a lot of people don't feel like that they should fire Red right now. I mean, it's not that hard of a decision. There's so many reasons why, man. Like if you really understand the game, I mean, I'm sure you can name some. For one thing is, you have to give the players a chance to try to work within a different system. Now, you're not going to create another system in one day,
right?
But you got weeks. You got weeks of practices. All you have to do is implement a couple of changes. You get one of the interim coaches to come in and see how he does. We all know Autry has a lot of deficiencies. His rotations, a lot of players that he aren't playing, that he didn't develop, that are sitting on the bench. His lack of ability to make those adjustments, during game time. His offense, he doesn't really have a defined offense. You bring what's the interim the assistant coach that they say next in line? You got Griffin and
I'd assume you'd put Dan Engelstad in that role just because he's been a head coach before, just so you've had somebody that's done it. But yeah, that would be my guess.
So if Dan comes in, he's not going to do the same thing Autry does. He can't. Why would he do the same thing? He's gonna try to create some offense. So now you get a chance to see how these players thrive. Everybody knows Nate George is a good player. So Dan comes in with his offense, and let's see what Nate does. You need to create a different system so you can see what these guys can actually do, and that way you could tell if it's really Autry or not. You know what I'm saying? Plus, you never know. I mean, what do you got to lose if you wait to the end? All the players are gone. You're searching for a coach. How are you going to know what these players can do? You got to do it now so you can give these players an opportunity to get a fresh start. You know what I'm saying? And Autry himself, if he goes to the end of the season losing all these games, man, He's gonna mess up his reputation, his legacy. Nobody's gonna, if he bows down now, resigns, tells the player like, "Look, I want you to go and play for this next coach and give it your all." You know what I'm saying? He goes out, with some dignity. You know what I mean? It looks good for him. And plus, you got to think about the players first. They still got 10 games left. They need a chance to show what they can do. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the season, they're all going to be, not all of them, but a lot of them are going to be gone. What are you going to, then you're going to bring in a new coach. You don't know if he's the right coach. Like, if you bring in Dan now, at least you can see a different system in place while they're playing these good teams.
Yeah, I mean, that's like, I don't know. I mean, there's so much stuff that goes behind it too, Anthony. Like, a lot of it is the financial side of things. Like, if I'm Red, I'm not resigning this gig ever. You have to fire me because I'm getting every damn cent of that money you owe me for the next couple of years. Like, I'm like, whatever's best for anybody. What's best for me is to get paid the rest of this contract. Like, if I'm any coach in that situation, I'm not falling on the sword for that. You're kicking me out and I'm getting my check or whatever I'm contractually owed. And that's the thing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, clearly the season is off the rails and lost. Honestly, not that you want to put it in the hands of the players, but like, as desperate as it is, like, if you're John Wildhack, do you bring in like JJ Starling and get the pulse of the room and be like, is it best for you guys to have him around? Because I don't. Well, yeah, because I think it's the basketball stuff, right? I don't think it's necessarily the personal side that's gone haywire here.
No, it's not the personal. It's all basketball. That's why you got. He needs to put his feelings aside, have a meeting with the team, let them know. Like, if he doesn't think if he doesn't believe that his system is not working, then he's in complete utter denial. He has to know his system is not working.
I'm
right?
sure he does. I mean, like, Red's not, for as much as he gets called it, Red is not stupid. Things are not working, but, like, Red's not dumb, and he's got to be aware. Now, if you're the head coach, though, like, are you thinking, is it your system, or are you thinking it's that your players aren't playing your system right? You never know. Like, head coaches can get lost in the sauce on stuff like that.
Well, yeah. So, let's say he believes that it's his system, and they can't thrive in the system. They're just not getting it, right? So, he accepts that. He needs to be a man and call a meeting with the team and say, "Look, guys, I'm thinking of I'm putting your interests first. If my system's not working, he needs to sit down with them and say, I'm gonna resign, and I want you to dedicate all your energy to this new coach, and let's see if this might work for you. We got a whole another half of the season. We get a fresh start. You reflect on the things that you guys have done, lack of energy, whatever, and just let's start fresh and see what we can do." He needs to humble himself and do that. And if he doesn't think his system is his system, then we got a problem. We got a problem. You know what I mean? But the fact is, a new guy's gonna come in with changes. Yeah. If a new guy comes in and does the same thing, he's an idiot. He's going to come in with some changes. Now we get a chance to see a fresh start and see how these players react with these new changes. That you got a lot of time to do that. And then when the season ends, what do we got to lose? Either we're going to lose a bunch of games or we might actually win a couple games. You know what I'm saying? Save some face. And then we could go looking for a coach that for the second half of the season, we look for a coach that can utilize the talents and whatever we see that happened good in the second half of the season. We look for a coach that can cater to that.
Yeah,
but you got to stop the bleeding now. You have to. What's the sense to keep going on?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of these things. Like, if this was the NBA, right, Red would be fired. Like, because that's just the way they operate. Like, and the difference being then you potentially can bring in people from the outside during the season, right? Which is obviously not what happens in college at this point. I don't know. I think that, like, the major importance here, Anthony, is just making sure you're ready to run in March to set it up for the future. And whether that's getting rid of Red now is slightly secondary to that in my mind. But you got to be ready with your financials, with the whole thing, to whenever the season is over, to turn the key and go and get your guy and move on. Now, if you get,
how are they gonna do that? How are
I
they gonna do that? Because the season when the season ends, now the portal opens immediately. They're gonna be focused on everything's gonna be focused on firing Red, firing the coach. How are they gonna focus on players in the portal? If they get a coach in there now, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you're not going to
They'll
get the
have
new coach in
time.
now. I mean, you're not. Whoever the new coach is going to be coaching in the games that matter in March. Like that's the problem with the overlap here.
Interim coach. If they get an interim coach in now, the pressure's off. The guys are just going to be playing, and they'll know for the rest of the season they'll be looking for a new coach. Coaches will know that Syracuse needs a new coach.
Yeah.
You got like another whole month for people to gain, take some interest in Syracuse. And then once the season ends and the portals open up, they'll have time. They would have had time to look at some players, maybe even have a new coach already committed. You know what I'm saying? But if they wait till the season, they're not going to have a new coach committed because it's just going to, it's just going to open up.
Yeah, well,
that's why I don't understand. People don't see the logic in this.
Well, no, I'm just saying. My point is, like, you should be doing that anyway, regardless if you've pulled the trigger on Red. Like, they need to be, whether you've done it officially or not, you need to be acting like you did behind the scenes. Is my thought here. Like, if you're
but now you got tension.
Yeah,
but that's creating tension. Red's gonna be like, they're doing this behind my back, and then Cayenne's gonna be like, why are they doing it? He's gonna have feelings involved in it. Well, these guys are doing this behind his back. You got tension. You have to just be out real and open. You have to be transparent in this thing. You got to be transparent. If he's not transparent, players these are young guys. They're going to get attitudes. They're going to feel like people are going behind the coach's back. They already expressed that. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to be they're not going to be focused. But if Red tells them, like, look, guys, I really want you to see, I can't do this. I want you to commit your time to the next person I'm putting in place. You know what I'm saying? No hard feelings. I'm thinking of you. That'll be better for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I understand where you're coming from that. I just don't necessarily see that coming in our immediate future. Though if they lose on Saturday, things could get haywire because now that's a really bad loss to Notre Dame, and things are getting out of control. Things could really, really spiral out of control.
Don't let them. But that's what I'm saying. It's more logical to be transparent, for Autry to accept it. Wildhack needs to go to him and say, look, accept it. Talk to the players, man. We got to give them an opportunity to try something new for the next 10 games. It's for their best interest, not ours.
If only college sports was based in logic, Anthony. Sadly, the whole enterprise is devoid of logic. So you're making a lot of sense. That is just not how the business works. It just
probably. I agree. I bet you're right about that. Like you said, Autry probably he's thinking about the money.
Oh yeah. Like if I'm him, if you're gonna offer me in order to resign right now, if I'm Red, in order to make it look like that, you better offer me a really, really, really nice buyout that has damn near every cent of the money I'm owed. Otherwise, I'm not even remotely considering it from his perspective. And that's just so bluntly selfish. The fact. That's just bluntly the fact.
It's so selfish, man.
Well,
because it's about the players. It's not about us. It's about the players, man.
I suppose, but if I was making several $1 million a year, it would be about me a little bit too. I'm not walking out on that. Sorry, players. This is my chance to cash in. You gotta look out for number one on that. But it's unfortunately, Anthony, this is going to be the story until it happens one way or another. That is for damn sure.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man. I'm gonna try to keep watching the rest of the games. I don't know, man.
All right. Always good to hear from you, man. There's our guy, Anthony. And, wrong button. I blame Red.
Hi, this is Mason.
Is all Red's fault. Mason's back. Fire Red. This is one of those weird things. In pro sports, just the way pro sports are operated, you make a change and you move on. And it's just not the way college sports operate. Should it be or not? That's a different question. And link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the show. And yeah, our PM, continuity from year to year, sadly, doesn't matter hardly at all anymore, which I think from our perspective as people that, watch the games and observe the games, and that part stinks. Because, come back to a guy like Quadir. Like in a different era, in a different scenario, Quadir is a 4-year player at Syracuse, and the growth he did was in one place. And man, it's one of those things where his senior year is a payoff to like the freshman year and the growth and the steps he had. And I'm not saying just because he's the guy we've seen tonight, but how many guys, back in the era of 4-year players in the long, long ago, we saw guys grow from freshman to sophomore to junior to senior years. And it was rewarding as a fan, and it makes you want to root for them even more. Yeah, the whole thing's... And it just stinks for that. Bring back Boeheim as an interim. I mean, I don't think he would do that. I don't think he would do that. Yeah, Cardiac Hughes, that's true. That was also the early 1980s. And that was Coach K coming from Army, where he'd already been a head coach and had been a wildly successful head coach at Army. It was a different place and time. That was literally 45 years ago. I mean, it was a different place and time. Like, you're not wrong, but like the odds of Red turning the tanker around at this point just don't seem very high. They just don't seem very high. Just not thinking. Like, in Jim, how old is Jim now? 81? I mean, whatever he is. I don't know. Like, if you're going to fire him, put Griff in charge. That would amuse me. I still have never heard Dan Engelstad speak out loud. So that could be fascinating if he would speak out loud at some point. Like, he was the head coach at Mount St. Mary's. They didn't necessarily win a whole ton, but he was the head coach at Mount St. Mary's, so you kind of toss him out there. It's one of those situations where, like, of the things that matter in the immediate and grand future of Syracuse basketball, that is extremely low on the list. Syracuse's number in the country was Scoop Jardine. Damn right they were, because Scoop Jardine, he wasn't a 4-year player. He was a 5-year player who got better and better and better and better. Scoop was a really good college player. Was he a great player? No, but he's a really good college player. But that's a guy, like, Scoop was a guy in this day and age with the portal probably would have left after his freshman or sophomore year. Oh, man. Will Wade, yeah. Will, I don't say Red didn't quit on Copeland. Like, Q got as many opportunities as a human being can get in 2 years. Like, Q got plenty of chances. Yeah, if this was a sports movie, we could turn it all around with something like that. Yeah, there could be a ringer. There could be somebody could turn into a wolf. Somebody could get in a weird accident that gives them basketball powers. If this was a sports movie, Carmelo joins the team for the rest of the season. He's got 3 years of eligibility left, and the Orange win the Natty again. I think, if it's a sports movie, like Jim Boeheim is on like a vacation in Florida and he trips, like he stumbles but falls into the fountain of youth and is reinvigorated and like comes back as a 35-year-old or something. Like, there's a lot of things. We could write a movie now. We can write a freaking movie now. Like, I can write a movie. Is Red doing a presser? I'm sure he is doing a presser. We do not get them live for post games. For road games, Jeff. We are hoping that it gets posted sooner or later, and we'll be able to deliver that to you before we are done today. I don't know if he's. Let's see if it's happened yet. Has anybody been tweeting anything about Red? Anyone been tweeting anything about Red here recently? Let's see any quotes out there. Not that any of them, I'm sure, will be necessarily. Let's see. He's at the podium nowish. Quote, "We have to keep fighting. Get back to watch film and be ready for the next game." WAER Sports on the Twitter. on Quadir, quote, he's all conference. We were trying to slow him down a little bit, but the biggest thing Quadir does is get others involved. Okay. Well, there's that. So there's a couple of red quotes from after the game. Yeah, a time machine. A time machine could work. Like we could do Back to the Future, or we could do a hot tub snowbank Syracuse time machine, something like that. Yeah. Does the team make the ACC tournament is a wild question. How many teams miss it? 3? I think 3 teams missed the ACC tournament. Woof. Yeah, like it's possible. It's possible. I mentioned the Bisque. Did Calvin Russell show more in 1 minute than Sadiq has shown in a month? If Sadiq had some strength on him, like I'll say this. If Sadiq is back at Syracuse next year playing for whomever the coach is, and Sadiq attacks the offseason in the weight room, or attacks the offseason in the weight room of whatever school he's at for next year, and puts on some strength, like he has some serious defensive potential in there, but he's just not strong enough. Like you can see it right now. Like he's switching everything. He's moving with the guys, but he is not strong enough to even hang with the guards. Like the NC State guards were bodying him a little bit. Like if he had some strength, yeah, but he's a freshman. He's not strong enough right now. Yeah, and cardiac use, there could be a whole change in the guard. Like if you told me, if we're sitting here on whatever, when's the football season start? Beginning of September. If you tell me that beginning of September there's a new chancellor, a new AD, and a new basketball coach, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Yeah, Sean, I don't get it. Like this team in Vegas against 3 really good teams. For 2 of the games anyway. They got slaughtered by Iowa State. But like Houston and Kansas, they battled. The Tennessee game in the Dome, they battled. The fight seems out of it. Like, and I don't know what that's happening. You can bet that Syracuse will have no returning players or coaches or athletic director. No returning players. Why would Sheffing Diawara not come back for another season of this? I think, like, as far as, want to fast forward ahead to the basketball portal, and again, link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join our post-game festivities after Syracuse gets cracked upside in the second half of the 20-point loss to NC State. The idea that Cayenne, Mello, all of that, like they're not going to run all of that. I don't know. You're not going to run them out. Like if you're the next coach, you want Mello around, right? You want Cayenne around. Obviously Cayenne's a freshman. He's not dad. Yeah, the fight being gone is almost exclusively on run. It could be. Looking forward to lacrosse. Lacrosse season does start on Sunday. They were just picked the preseason #1 team in the ACC. And a deserved shout-out here as a slight lax tangent to one John Desko, who as a head coach won 5 national championships, and as assistant coach he won 6, which means he has more rings than fingers. He will be going into the Ring of Honor April. I believe it is April. I forget which game it is. But shout out to John Desko. Fantastic human being. Great lacrosse coach. And going into the Ring of Honor. Did somebody suggest this? I forget. Was it in this chat the other day or on Twitter? Somebody's like, what if Syracuse takes all of their NIL money for every sport and invested in lacrosse? Like, that would be wild. You just got like a $10 million lacrosse roster just going crazy. Yeah, it's hard to see Carmelo leaving. Like, Cayenne leaving. It's hard to see Carmelo leaving. I think, unless there is a hire that for whatever reason there's a weird previous relationship, right, with Mello or Cayenne or something from recruiting or who knows what, I would guess that they'd stick it out for another year. I would guess they would stick it up for another year. John Desko did not try to cover up any assaults, Mark. That is not true. We're not going to re-adjudicate anything that happened with that stuff. John was following the rules of the university and got put in a really stupid position. That's neither here nor there. Like an insanely stupid position by the powers that be. Do we know why Melo is frustrated? I don't know. Is Melo frustrated? Yeah, I mean, his team's not winning. Cayenne's not playing great. I mean, like, Melo's not dumb. He can see that his son's not necessarily deserving of more playing time right now. I have no idea what he thinks of the coaching or whatnot. See, here's what I really like about how Melo's handling all of this. He's not saying anything, which is great. Like, just because his voice carries a lot of weight. Now, if once Red is out, if Melo wants to say something, okay. But, like, he's not muddying the waters in any way. So, I want that. Yeah, like, who do you want back? You want Sadiq back. You want Cayenne back because, they're freshmen. They can get better. Tyler Betsy obviously has more years back. Like, he can be something, I think. Yeah, Noah Lebdell, important player. You want Noah Lebdell back. You'll keep Calvin Russell if Fran is open to that. Nate George has another year of eligibility left, which that's going to be fascinating that Nate has another year of eligibility. Like, there is the theory that, right, and I don't know what's right or wrong, like, Nate George was a better player last year than he is this year. If Nate George stays at Syracuse for a different coach next year, does he play better? I mean, you'd have that. Matt Langle, enough with the Weitzman, Wayne. Enough with the Weitzman. Yeah, you could bring back Weitzman and you could afford a third-string guard. That would be great. Matt Langle's intriguing. There's a lot of guys. Coach of Miami, Ohio, who was on at halftime, whose name eludes me. They're 20-0. They got the highest scoring team in the country. He was previously the coach at Xavier, kind of washed out there. Now he's rebuilding his rep. That's a guy. There's guys out there. There's guys. Betsy is gone. His parents are talking about Autry online. Well, yeah, they're talking about Autry online. But if a new head coach comes in, like, here's my main hope, right, for the order of operations at the end, to the point of why do you do it now or when do you make the move, and when the portal date is. Like, Syracuse needs to be ready to go for whenever the next head coach is announced, that vis-a-vis whenever the portal is, and now the portal doesn't open right now till after the first weekend of games, though the time period is much shorter this year. I think it's only 2 weeks of portal. So, like, I want the next head coach to be able to at least exit interview the current team before final decisions are made, so at least everybody knows where everybody's coming from. And then, people go, they don't go, whatever. But I want the next head coach to at least be able to have that interaction with a Tyler Betsy, with a Nate George, with a Cayenne, with Sadiq, with whatever, to, figure out what's best for all involved. Because you don't want the coach getting hired after guys have already tossed themselves in the portal and really started looking, and you're mentally out the door, and then you never had a chance. That said, in the portal era, it just doesn't necessarily matter a whole ton anymore. It doesn't necessarily matter a whole ton anymore because you go to the portal and you fill out a roster and then, you do whatever. I mean, look at what Louisville did last year. Now, obviously, they had a crap ton of money to play with, but completely overhauled their roster in 1 year. It's not football, it's basketball. You don't need that many guys. Gerard, free throw coach. Yeah, why not? Gerard's coaching will be like, why are you guys not shooting it in the basket? That's what I do. I shoot it in the basket. You guys should. Did they change it this year? The portal opens after the title game this year, Cuse, Oregon? Is that a fact? They bumped it back that long? It's hard to keep track of when they change the portal every year. Basketball portal dates. change his transfer process, blah, 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 will not be able, until the Tuesday after the tournament ends. Okay. So, you got a little time there. It's less, and this is part of the reason why, like, you don't necessarily need to rush now, because it's less crazy, right? It's a less panicked. Like, that doesn't happen until April something, right? Syracuse's last game is going to be in early March. Like, there is time. Yeah, kids will announce, but nothing is binding then, Bob. Like, you haven't actually done anything that counts. Like, you can say you're leaving or whatnot, and then if a new coach is hired and meets with them and whatever, and they decide that they are the right pair or not, then you can work it out. You can work it out, but it's less of a panic. It's less of a rush at that point. Less of a panic and less of a rush. SU will be the equivalent of Indiana football. Yeah, yeah, why not? A new coach by the end of March. If they don't, like, if Syracuse does not have a new coach in place well before the end of the NCAA tournament, that's just, unless for some reason that you've really honed in on an assistant at a team that's making a deep run. Though even last year, I forget the timing, like, didn't we know that Jay Lucas was going to Miami, like, well before he was done at Duke? Like, wasn't that known? I don't. So, yeah, you need to know, like, well before the portal opens. You need to know. You got to hit the ground running. You need to know. Like, right now, behind the scenes, be it John Wildhack, be it the trustees, be it fundraising, be it whoever, like, they need to be filling the war chest as best they can. They need to be filling the war chest for coach, for staff, for NIL, the best you can. Now, the thing is, like, if you're looking at any of these up-and-coming coach types that are at a mid-major or something, in theory, they're going to be in the NCAA tournament, so you at least need to wait for that. If it's a mid-major type, the odds of a Sweet 16 situation aren't there. A guy like Matt Langle is interesting that, I don't know, like Colgate's not running away with the Patriot this year, right? Like, they're fine. Like, maybe they make the tournament, maybe they don't. But, like, he's already proven his point, right? Like, there's a potential scenario where, like, Colgate does not make the tournament, and if you just look at him specifically, you could have him hired like almost before the ACC tournament is over, if that's the guy you hone in on. So it'll be very interesting to see. Like, I really like Langle. Like, I think you 100% give him a strong look. Give Jerry a look. I don't think Jerry's going to get the gig, but, give Jerry a look. Give Langle a look. Give we give whoever the hot younger coaches are a look. Give them all a look. You're Syracuse, right? Go act like it. Like, you're Syracuse. You need to go act like it. And to coaches like that, like, coaching Syracuse, I think is still going to be a draw in that respect. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, that's one of the things. Like, you can Ferdi, you can turn it around quick. Just because the last few seasons are crap, Calipari. Yeah, they're not getting Calipari or Pitino. Or at least they're not getting Rick Pitino. Richard Pitino? I don't know. Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. That said, you all clearly want to talk about it. Link pinned top of the chat if you'd like to join the post-game show. Shout out to all of our fine sponsors, Wild Birds Unlimited, Simply Sweet Sisters, and the good folks downtown at the most. Do they need a mid-major coach that makes the tournament? Need is strong, MJ Burke, but I'd say of the types you probably should be looking at, yeah. That's where Langle is kind of the one exception, right? Like, Langle has made the tournament 5 times already recently. I mean, you can give him a look, madam. Like, you can give him a call. Mello needs to be on the hiring committee. Yeah, like, I think Mello, setting aside Cayenne, I think Mello's presence is useful. Paulus, doesn't Niagara stink? What's going on in the MAC standings? What? Can we join the MAC? We might have a chance there. What is going on in the MAC? Niagara is wow. They're 5-15, 2-8. Yeah. Where's Paul? Yeah, I don't know about that one. What's Jerry up to? Sienna's 14-7, 7-3 in the league. Sienna's sitting third in the MAC right now. Merrimack's in the MAC. Who knew? They're leading the league. How about that? The MAC is much larger than it used to be. But yeah, have like Mello for all the people. Mello should be the next coach. Mello should be the GM. Mello should not have anything that is a full-time job with the team where literally he's got to come into work all the time. But utilize Mello as much as he is willing to be utilized. Utilize him as much as he's willing to be utilized. Yeah, and I wouldn't really consider Hop at this point either. Now, what I'd consider Hop for, and I don't think this would happen either, because I think you'd need to have the mind eraser thing for Men in Black, get Hop back as an assistant, but, he's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. Don't call Jerry. I mean, Jerry's a friendly fellow. You can call him and say hello. You can catch up. Yeah. You can have a lovely chat with him. Say, hey, Jerry, what's up in lovely Loudonville? What's going on down the road in Albany? What's up in Latham? What's up in the Capital Region? You can have a lovely chat with him. Well, Siena can make the tournament this year, Mark. It's as simple as this. They'll be in it with as good a puncher's chance as anyone to win the MAC tournament. They'll be in it with that. You'll still root for Red at Duquesne? I do want Red will, assuming he wants to, Red will land a major conference assistant job if that's what he wants. I can't foresee him ever being a head coach again. Jamie Dixon, oh God, no, bowling ball. He is a good coach, but I can't. Well, and there's the other thing. Was Heather like the Pitt AD when Dixon got forced out? What's the exact timing of that? Heather, who was the Pitt AD when Dixon kind of got shoved out? So, got to Pittsburgh in 2017. I don't know. Jamie Dixon got ceremoniously shoved aside at Pittsburgh in 2016. All right, so she was not the one that forced him out of Pittsburgh. Okay, so that would be awkward since she has kind of inserted herself in the Syracuse athletic department at this point. Yeah, I can't do Jamie Dixon. He was a great coach at Pitt for a long time. I can't do that. Let's see. Irish will come in deflated. What's Notre Dame up to right now? They're in double overtime, George, against Virginia. Let's see. 98-95. Virginia over double overtime. Dan Hurley is just waiting for SU to fire Red so he can be the lead assistant. Oh, yeah, he's going to succeed Bill Self. Yeah, is there a younger person that looks like that cuts a suit like Jay Wright? Shaheen Holloway, yeah, obviously Shaheen made that crazy run in the tournament a couple of years ago. He's an interesting case because he's at his alma mater right now, for whatever that means in this day and age. I don't know what he's getting paid, but Seton Hall is a decent gig, and he's at his alma mater. Yeah, they could get Sean McDermott. Sean McDermott's available. Is there seriously not a presser yet? Forever Orange Girl? Let's see. Let's click the refresh button. See if a presser is uploaded. Yeah, there's not one I can play for you at the moment. Does Cuse turn down an NIT bid? At this rate, they're not going to have to turn down an NIT bid, George. The way this is going and the way they pick the NIT now, the NIT is going to turn them down. It's not going to go the other way around on that. They're not going to be asked to participate in the NIT, how this is going. The top JUCO coach from Indiana is 747 and 140. Ooh, that's a spicy little record. We like that. It's a winner. That's what I'm hearing. A winner. Link pin top of the chat if you'd like to join the show here. Going forward, we'll hang out for a few more minutes, see if a red presser becomes available. Yeah, may not make the ACC tournament. it's still way too early to get a sense of the ACC standings, and Syracuse does have that Georgia Tech win. ACC standings. Scrolling. All right, Syracuse is 3-5 in the league. Man, like, BC's terrible, but you already lost to them. The Notre Dame game on Saturday is going to go a long way to that being play. Like, Florida State's 1-6 in the league. As far as games remaining on the schedule, that will determine that. And I cannot believe we're having this conversation. But here we are. Home game against Notre Dame, home game against Pitt to end the season, and road game at Wake Forest are the 3 games against teams currently below you in the conference standings. Stanford, go figure, is right next to you in the conference standings, who you don't play. And Cal, with Chris Bell, is 3-4 in the league. Like, there is a non-zero scenario that Syracuse Pitt in the last game of the regular season is for the right to go to the ACC tournament. Oh man, there's a non-zero chance to do that. Should we bring back Ryan Cabils? He's still in town. Ryan's still around. He's out and about. Fred Hoiberg from Nebraska. Yeah, I don't know. Fred Hoiberg's got a Big Ten budget and he hasn't lost this year. So there's that. I mean, you could just bring in, Travis Steele. Though, man, he did that interview they played at halftime with him. Good coach. Boring fellow. That was not the most exciting interview I've ever heard. Yeah, Fred Hoiberg, the mayor. Yeah, Devo. The presser did happen, Forever Orange Girl. I'm not denying that the presser happened. It's just I do not have the video of it at the moment to play for you. They do not air the pressers live from road games, but if it gets put up on the old YouTube, I can play it back for you here shortly. We will see. Yeah, like, I love me some Devo. Giving him the job would be beyond bonkers, but I think Devo has done a wonderful job with the current gig he's got. Yeah, LA Orange, I don't know. People are trying to steer away from an alum, so I don't know about that. They're trying to steer away from an alum. Yeah, I know you've been pushing Hodgson. How's he doing? It's our first 4-game losing streak ever? No, that's not remotely true, Matt NY. That's not correct. That's not correct. Does Wild Hack address fan base this week? I'm going to go with a no on that, George. My guess is Wild Hack will probably not be. We may not hear John Wildhack say a word until Red is let go. That's my current guess on if and when we will next hear from one John Wildhack. Yeah, Tony Bennett. Fill out the whole staff. Go get all the national title coaches. Get Bennett and get Jay Wright. Boeheim can be like the third assistant. Just get everybody who's hanging out that's got a natty and just group them all together. Yeah, Josh Schertz. Josh Schertz is going to get a big-time job this year if he wants it. Butts in seats Saturday. This is what stinks, Randy. This is what stinks. Saturday, Syracuse and Notre Dame, 6 o'clock in the Dome. This would be, in a different place in time, an absolute massive crowd. It's not going to be a massive crowd. Is Steve Fisher alive? I'm honestly not sure about that, San Diego Cuse. Did he die? No, I honestly don't know if Steve Fisher is alive. He is alive. He's 80. Good for Steve Fisher. He's alive. He's got a natty. There he goes. Interim head coach with a natty. Dan Engelstad. It could be you. We still need to do a Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. We've gotten astray before we wrap up. We got to hire the Duke coach. Yeah, just go get John Shire. Let's just go get John Shire. All right, let's do our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air Player of the Game. We put up a poll at the start of this broadcast, we put up a poll at the start of this broadcast with these three options for our Wild Birds Unlimited player of the game. Donnie Freeman, who clearly was Syracuse's best player today, 24 points, 10 rebounds, 16 points in the first half, kept Syracuse in it. Quadir Copeland, one-time Syracuse player. This would be an inaugural thing. We've never given the Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game to somebody on the other team. But we know Q as we stare into the darkness of night out in the backyard. It is cold and snowy. Though not actively snowing. I thought it was supposed to be snowing right now. So Quadir Copeland, who had an excellent day against his old team, 19 points and 9 assists and 8 billion gallons of emotion. And we also saw the debut today, the Syracuse Athletic debut of one high-profile football recruit in Calvin Russell. So here is the final results of the poll. Donnie Freeman, who clearly was Syracuse's best player in the game, checked in with 26% of the vote. Calvin Russell, who played 1 minute and scored 3 points with an and one, checked in with 30% of the vote, outdueling Donnie Freeman. And Quadir Copeland, with an exceedingly appropriate 44% of the vote, is our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game. For the first time, we have given it to somebody on another team, though it's at least somebody that we know. Yeah, the dark abyss. It's like watching Syracuse play basketball, staring into my backyard in the darkness of night. And there we are. Quadir Copeland is our Wild Birds Unlimited Big Air player of the game, as it was always destined to be. All right, before we go, hopefully Calvin Russell, the 3 next time he's in Raleigh is touchdowns, not points or yards. That would be ideal. One last check here to see if we can just live it up with some red before we're done here today. Yeah, no red press conference available to play back for you yet. So there is that. There is that. All right. We'll continue this conversation as the weeks, days, and months go along for sure. Because once again, we didn't talk on the postgame show a whole lot about the game that happened today. Because once you get smacked by 20 and get completely run through in the second half, there is that. There is that. We'll see if the Orange can stop the bleeding on Saturday against Notre Dame, who's toward the bottom of the league. And if they don't, oh boy, it could get really, really, really ugly, as opposed to just really ugly, whatever we're at right now. Upcoming broadcast tomorrow night, TPS Report, Transfer Portal Syracuse, me, Jordan, 8 o'clock, live in the 315. We'll be rocking that on Thursday a.m. at 11 a.m. Eastern. Coffee time, 8 o'clock on the West Coast for you West Coast folk out there. And then we will be post-game Saturday, perhaps talking about just epic and utter disaster after Syracuse and Notre Dame. That's a 6 o'clock tip on Saturday, which means we will be wrapping up on Saturday, or starting our post-game show on Saturday around about 8 o'clock. All right, great crowd today. You're welcome, Kev. Your delivery spot very close to the office, so that worked out for you. Order stuff from Simply Sweet Sisters, as Kev did, and maybe if you live on the way somewhere, you might even get some personalized delivery. It's all in play. It's all in play. 10% off with the code. With that, have a good night, everybody. I'll talk to you again tomorrow night, and maybe sometime soon we'll see Syracuse win a basketball game again.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.